welcome to today's lecture on leadership and human resource management in agribusiness. So, in this session, we'll explore how effective leadership and strategic HR practices can transform agribusiness operations, boost productivity, and also to create a lasting success. Whether you're managing a small farm or a large agricultural enterprises, these principles are key to thriving in a competitive industry. So stay tuned and don't forget to like, subscribe, and share for more insights. Okay, so my warm greetings to everyone and welcome to my lecture presentation about leadership and human resource management in agribusiness. So my name is Michael Victor Gonzalez from West Visayas State University, College of Agriculture and Forestry. So let's begin our lecture proper. So the agribusiness is not only about the production and technology, but also heavily dependent on our effective leadership and human resource management. So this we aim to ensure our long-term success. Leadership styles and also the human resource management practices significantly impact our productivity and also the employee satisfaction and the overall business performance. So in agribusiness, especially in the Philippines and our ASEAN countries, leadership and the HRM take on the unique dimensions due to the nature of our agricultural labor and the seasonality of work and the rural economic context. So let's explore the leadership in agribusiness. So first, we do have a what we call autocratic leadership. So the characteristics of this is that the leader makes decisions unilaterally within or with a little input from his subordinates or her subordinates and often used in hierarchical traditional agriculture setting. So what is the impact on agribusiness? While this style can lead to quick decision or quick decision making, it may reduce the employee motivation and innovation. So, in the context of our rural agriculture in the Philippines, the autocratic leadership can be seen in smaller family run farms where decisions are made by one person. Next is the democratic leadership. So, the characteristics is that the leader involves the team member decisions, and they are making decisions together as he gather the inputs of his or her teammates. The impact on our agribusiness is that the democratic leadership fosters a more inclusive working environment, which can lead to a higher morale and creativity. In a large agricultural cooperatives in ASEAN countries like Thailand, Vietnam, so the democratic leadership helps engage our farmers in the in decision making process and leading to more sustainable practices and community involvement. Another one is our transformational leadership. Its characteristics is that a leader inspire and motivate the employees by creating a vision for the future and encouraging personal development. So, what is the impact of this leadership? So, in our agribusiness, the transformational leadership drives the change and innovation and crucial for adapting to a what we call market shift and technological advancement. So, this kind of leadership is somehow very important in pushing the change, the positive change in an organization, especially in our rapid advancement in terms of technology and also the market dynamics of today's generation. A transformational leadership can see or have seen the future, have seen the impact of this new technology that needs to be incorporated to the organization in order to cope up with the competition and the challenges in our agricultural setting. So in modern agribusinesses, it focusing on sustainability and also the value chain optimization. So this part of our industry, uh, sustainability and value chain. So our leadership style as a transformational leader is somehow very essential to foster a culture of, well, what we call continuous improvement. So if we will not adapt, if we will not improve in certain areas in our organization, eventually we're going to uh, degrade, and eventually we will lose our competitive edge. Another one is a what we call transactional leadership. Characteristics of this is that based on the system of rewards and punishments. Transactional leaders, they focused on maintaining the status quo while improving the operational efficiency. So the impact on agribusiness is that this style is effective in managing a short-term task like seasonal harvest, especially in dealing with the prices. So if you deal with the traders or to your market segment. However, it might not foster a long-term innovation, and this approach is prevalent in contract farming system in Southeast Asia, where farmers follow a set of guidelines in exchange for guaranteed payments from a larger agribusiness firms. Excuse me. So here we do have a leadership styles in the Philippines and ASEAN. So let's take a look. So in the Philippines, many rural agricultural businesses often lean towards a paternalistic or autocratic leadership, especially in family-owned farms, where our decision making is typically uh, centralized. However, in cooperative setting, the democratic leadership is gaining a what we call traction, especially with the rise of agrarian reform program. So in contrast, transformational leadership is increasingly adopted by large agribusiness corporation. So not only in Thailand, Malaysia, and Vietnam, but also in other countries, so where technology, innovation, and sustainability are critical. So let's give us some example for the leadership style in the international community in our agribusiness setting. So in the Netherlands, where a global leader in agricultural innovation, the Dutch agribusinesses, they often use the transformational leadership, and they are focusing on technological innovation and sustainability. While in Australia, where farmers, cooperatives, and agricultural businesses, specifically in Australia, they emphasize democratic leadership with decision making power distributed among their members. So let's proceed to the human resource management in agribusiness. So the HRM practices in agricultural setting. Okay, so number one is the recruitment and selection. You are going to choose and select the right person in your organization that has a com- competencies, that skills, and attitude that are required to be effective and efficient member of your organization. So here are some of the challenges that we will encounter. So in agribusinesses in the Philippines and ASEAN countries, mostly we often struggle with attracting skilled labor due to the rural nature of our agricultural work and the perception of the low wages. So that's the situation in our field. So the best practices is that companies like Del Monte, Philippines, have developed a targeted recruitment program to attract workers from rural communities, offering a housing and long-term employment to combat the labor shortage. Labor shortage. Another one is the training and development. So the importance of this is that our agricultural laborers, particularly in the Philippines, often lack access to formal education and training. So agribusiness firms must invest in skill development to increase productivity. So, for example, in Malaysia, their large plantation companies offer a comprehensive training programs for both local workers and their migrant workers, and that they can be able to ensure a more proficient farming techniques to their employees. Next is the performance management. So the strategies for implementing this is that implementing this performance management system can help improve the productivity because you are uh, capacitating your employee, your people in your organization. Um, in other setting, in traditional performance metrics, may not fully apply to seasonal workers because our agricultural productivity is seasonal. Okay, so what is the application for this? So in agribusiness in Thailand, they use a performance-based incentives to improve the efficiency during the peak season, like harvesting. So that in this country, they are applying this mostly on the peak season, like in harvesting, so that to encourage the efficiency of their workers. And maybe were able to determine that in this area during this harvesting area where efficiency is the most vital part of their operation and they need to make it very efficient. So I assume that they have a supported studies related to their decision making. And another one is the employee retention. How will you uh, hold your employees in a positive manner that they will stay in your company or in your organization? So what is it for them? So it challenges that we may encounter is due to the physically demanding nature of our agricultural work. The turnover rates are often high. Why? Why do you think? Well, of course, as human as we are, we also looking for a better job, a better setting where we can be able to where we are paid more and also our uh, well-being is also maintained. So offering a competitive salaries, benefits, and career progression opportunities can aid in employee retention. So as long as you can be able to maintain the expectation of your employees that they have something to look forward to, especially for them and for their families, eventually they will stay. For example, in Vietnam, agribusiness companies have established a profit-sharing programs to retain a talent in a highly competitive labor market. So that is how they manage the expectation of their employee. So another one in the HRM, in the context of our ASEAN and the Philippines, so the agribusinesses often face a high turnover rates due to the availability of better opportunities abroad or in urban areas. So the government policies such as the Department of Agriculture, promotions such as the agri-entrepreneurship have attempted to bridge this gap and by creating a more stable jobs in our agricultural sector. So in the ASEAN context, countries like Thailand and Vietnam are focusing on what we call modernizing their agricultural labor force through training and mechanization. So in ASEAN Economic Community promotes the mobility of skilled workers across member states and offering an opportunity for the agricultural sector to benefit from the regional expertise. So example for our HRM in the international agribusiness. So John Deere, this company based in the United States, the company placed a strong emphasis on employee development through ongoing training programs for its workers, particularly the use of a cutting-edge agricultural machinery, since this is their uh, major edge in the industry, their technology. While in New Zealand, known for its dairy industry, the New Zealand agribusinesses prioritize the HRM through strong labor laws that ensure a fair wages and working conditions for seasonal workers. So let's proceed to the integrating the leadership and the HRM, the human resource management in agribusiness. So the leadership and the human resource management practices must be integrated. Okay, so this integration for our agribusinesses to increase our success in the competitive and globalized market. So the leaders, not uh, or what we call this, the leaders need to adapt to the practices or the human resource management strategies in order for them to motivate their employees, enhance their productivity, and also to foster the innovation. So that is why the leaders in the industry must also take a serious consideration this area of their operation. So integrating the leadership and HRM in agribusiness. For example, our case study here in San Miguel Food in the Philippines, since this company is one of the largest agribusiness conglomerate, the San Miguel Foods uses a transformational leadership and effective HRM practices to drive the innovation and employee engagement. So they offer extensive training programs, career development, and also the performance-based incentives to retain a what we call top talent and ensure that the businesses are still in the competitive edge. So here our conclusion. Leadership and human resource management are critical factors in the agribusiness success. So the combination of appropriate leadership style, and also the effective HRM practices can lead to increased productivity, employee satisfaction, and sustainable growth. So these three will be the effect of your integration of your leadership and HRM practices. So whether in small farms in the Philippines or large agribusiness conglomerate in ASEAN as a whole, as a uh, bigger picture, the right leadership and human resource management strategies can shape the future of our agriculture. So for our references in our discussion, you may also cite this and also take a look for some important information to add up in our discussion. So thank you very much for being part of this lecture presentation, and stay tuned for the upcoming lecture related to our topic. And I'll see you again on our next lesson. Thank you and have a wonderful day.